Let's get you up and running with the developer edition of the Smarter project. Smarter is developed with Python and Django, and it runs natively in Docker. Those are the three things that are going to principally drive what I'm about to show you. All right. First, make sure that you're in the right repo. This is what you want, is smarter-sh/smarter. That's the main repository that contains the API and the web console. Here on the README are the 3 or 4 key things that you need to know. Most importantly, you need the version of Python that's displayed on the README. As of this recording, that's Python 3.12, noting that the project is about to bump to 3.13, and it'll arbitrarily be something higher when you probably chance upon this video. You also need 2 command line utilities for Docker. One is Docker itself. And so when you open a terminal window and type docker -- version, you should get something back. And likewise with Docker Compose. If you're missing any of that, then Google install Docker Desktop, and you'll find yourself to this page where you can pick out what you need for your operating system, and the rest is automatic pilot. If you're lacking the exact version of Python that you need, navigate to python.org. There's a downloads page, and the rest will take care of itself. All right. From there, we're going to clone this repo. We're going to set up a .env file, and then we're going to run make init and make run, and that's basically it. Okay, first things first, I would recommend that you just type the command make, hit enter, and it'll seem like all you're getting is a menu of the possible commands. But in truth, it's also going to scaffold a .env file for you. And so once you've done that, you'll have a .env that exactly matches what I'm showing you here. And in this .env, there, at a minimum, you'll need to add an OpenAI API key to get the full feature set. You're also going to need an AWS key pair, and possibly other things. So there's copious inline documentation inside of the .env, and it's kind of autopilot, so I'll leave it to you. All right, from there, we're going to run make init, and this is going to do the following. This is going to download the MySQL Docker container, Redis. It's going to build the Smarter container, and all that collectively is going to take several minutes. The Docker file itself is highly cache optimized. And so once you've powered through this one time, then subsequent builds will go pretty quickly. A second thing that it's going to do that's important is it's going to create a local virtual environment specifically for your code editor. I'm using VS Code in this video, and it's important that you have an activated virtual environment that matches up with the virtual environment that's in the running container for type checking, to make sure that your imports work, to get your linters to do what they're supposed to do, etc. Once the builds finish and the containers start up, then here's what you should see is a running MySQL container, Redis cache, and then 3 different containers for Smarter. One of those is for the application, a second for the asynchronous worker thread, and a third for the beat scheduler. You can watch this cycle through the paces to run the Django database migrations, and then it's going to boot up some AI resources sufficient for you to be able to interact with the software. So it's going to create some chatbots, some connections, some secrets, etc. These are the resources that the unit tests will make use of in order to touch all the code. Okay, and the last thing that this is going to do for you is get pre-commit set up. It'll download all the pre-commit utilities that are part of the configuration, and then you're good to go. All right, so that's that. There's a Docker Compose file that you should take a look at for credentials for the backing services. For MySQL, for example, here are our credentials, which is just smarter. And I think Redis is wide open in development. It doesn't have a password, I don't think. For the application itself, you can see the credentials here. Item number 4. the login. And so it's admin@smarter.sh and the password is smarter. All right, there's our landing page. If you set up OAuth, then you'll see these if you set up OAuth, and they should work. And we're on a clean build. And so the only user at the moment is the admin user. And so now if we go back as an admin user, here we go. So these are the AI resources that were automatically put together for you right now. So this includes basic chatbots along with chatbots that include some of the extensibility features like functions and plugins. So this one contains a couple of plugins. Down at the bottom, there is this one here, Stackademy SQL, that includes an SQL plugin with a live connection to a real database that I'm hosting. And they should work. Let's see. Let's try a quick test prompt and just make sure this is the most sophisticated of the prompts. This is connecting to a MySQL database remotely, and it looks like it worked. Good. All right. Last thing is when I am working on this project, here's what I do. I have a command line alias, which for me is API, and this does the following that's important. It sets up an AWS profile, so I don't have to worry about that. And then it navigates me to the GitHub repository, sources the virtual environment because VS Code will not do that for you. Also sources the .env file, which clearly the VS Code application is not going to do for you. And then lastly, it opens up VS Code. And I find that enormously helpful. So it gets me off on the right foot. The environment variables are inside of this session. And so that's fantastic. And VS Code is rip, roaring, and ready to go. If we go into some source code, like so, then these imports should be resolving, including the ones for Django and all that. So there you go. Good luck.